Two-time Hall of Fame inductees, Brent Godarzi and Marty Young. Back-to-back #1 trucking firm in the nation. Back-to-back best attorney and best law firm in East Texas.
Hello, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to the Gilmer Buckeyes Coaches Show. I'm your host, Jeff Rash, and I'm joined today with the athletic director and head football coach and new district champion.
Good stuff.
Mr. Alan Metzel.
Yes, sir.
So, Alan, Pleasant Grove came to Gilmer this last Friday, and to be honest with you, it was a bit of a letdown, kind of a boring game, a little humdrum. Todd and I were eating popcorn and kind of just chatting.
I'm glad somebody was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite moment I've been waiting on right here. This is the district championship trophy, and it's back home where it belongs in Gilmer, Texas, right?
Hard earned, and grateful to have it back in this town.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, isn't it?
That's right a lot of work.
We're going to put that baby right here where it belongs.
Yes, sir.
What an incredible game! I mean, good grief! I've watched. We talked about for the last at least 20 years. I can't think of a game. We played a lot of great games here. I think about Kilgore. I think about the Gladewater game. It's been a lot of good games here. And even in playoff games, you can go to Cuero. You can talk about Gladewater and Longview. You can talk about even the ones we lost, like LE over there. And you can talk about all the big games. But, man, for this stadium, in my book, that's the best game I've ever watched in this stadium.
It had a lot of drama. You know, it had the being behind at half. It had the some momentum swings in fourth quarter, and then the drama of having to hit the field goal to win the game. That's
with
pretty
zero
special.
on the clock.
Yeah,
and the thing about it is most people have kind of mentioned, and this a common theme around town for this weekend has been that would be the corniest movie script of all time.
Say,
like, oh, come on, man.
Nobody does it like that. That's just what they do in Hollywood, and yet it happened.
And yet it happened in real life. We got to watch it, you know.
It was awesome.
And so it was incredible. And we're going to walk through a lot of plays today, so we're not going to talk about anything other than football today. So ridiculous. I mean, we come into the game, PG undefeated, Gilmer undefeated in district. It's the battle for we knew it was going to be that way. We hoped it was going to be that way. It was a heavyweight fight. The two big boys, state-ranked teams.
They were ranked number 2.
Yeah, and they come into our house. We haven't beat them the last 5 games. So there's that psychological advantage, if you want to call it that. Some people would, some people wouldn't. You may not consider it that way. You've got a really big physical team.
Right.
Now, they've got a couple of players out, but nonetheless, they're enormous.
No doubt.
Their offensive line, defensive line. Got some great athletes,
They're
several
very
D1 players on the team.
Yes.
And so it was going to be a battle. We knew
it was going to take everything we had.
Yeah, going to be a battle.
Right.
And it was. So we go down, in halftime. We're down 14 points, and they're able to move the ball. I noticed in the first quarter, it took a little while to figure out their blocking schemes. Like, the defensive line has to figure out, okay, when he does this, I got to do this.
Absolutely.
And that started happening. And in the second quarter, you could see them start figuring it out. And all of a sudden, that little counter play wasn't getting the same amount of yardage.
Correct.
And so we were talking about it up here, and we were like, they're going to come out and make that adjustment at halftime. They're going to shut that down. Right. That's what happened.
Right.
And so then you've got the drama we're going to go through with the fumble and the whole deal. We're going to show that play, and then down to the wire. I worried because we had 8 seconds on the clock, and they were trying to get to down the ball, and the referee's fumbling around.
He kept dropping it, and I lost about 10 years right there. Just those about 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh, it was like Laurel and Hardy down there. It was crazy. And then we finally get it, spike it with 2 seconds, and we're sitting there with a chip shot. But still, you're nervous because you're thinking these boys do this on extra points all the time. But what if, right?
Right.
So huge finish. What did you see? There was a lot to see to like.
Right.
But I'm going to ask you both, like I often do. What did you see you liked, and what did you not like? And let's start with the stuff you liked, because there was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. First of all, what I liked was the week of preparation. Unbelievable focus, unbelievable buy-in into defensive game plan, offensive game plan, being into each other. And, I know a lot of that sounds cliche, but it really was it, and you saw it play out. So the preparation was critical. That was key. The day of the game, laser focus. We didn't have things that we were having to take care of distraction-wise. Laser focus. So then, you get into the game, and some people may say, well, you didn't start fast again. Well, that wasn't the point. When you're talking about not starting fast, it's more about what are you not doing. Well, we were playing a real good team, and so there's a difference when you may be doing certain things, but they're stopping it.
Yeah.
So, there were things that we had to do better. It wasn't that we were doing poorly, we had to do better. And the guys figured that out. They raised their game to a higher level. And we go in at halftime. Of course, we've had several games where we were behind at half.
Yeah, Lindale.
Yeah, we walked in. They're like, we got it, man. We got it. We just got it. We know what we got to do. The defense was getting their stuff tightened up. We knew some things we needed to go do on offense. The other thing, we knew we had to get our play count up to get them tired. And you saw that
because
play
at
out.
halftime, you guys were like half the play count, I think, that they had.
Right.
Way off schedule of the 65 snaps you wanted.
But we were able to, in the third quarter, start getting that up. Yeah. And that was part of it. We had to get some drives going, and we were able to. They started getting tired, which started to swing that momentum.
Yeah.
And then
and you were strolling them sideline to sideline a lot.
The whole night.
Todd and I were talking about the fact that we started seeing a lot of this on the defensive line,
Exactly.
And they were getting tired of scraping and having to chase side to side.
We were trying to go vertically as far as we could and horizontally as far as we could. And eventually you get tired. And so I think that began to play in there, and we kind of made a move at that point.
You told us you felt like you had a good game plan, and Tommy Edwards has done a great job this year defensively.
Really.
He's a good defensive coordinator.
He is. He's doing a super job.
He felt very, very comfortable and confident
and
about
I'll
the
be
game
honest,
plan.
I know it wasn't necessarily everybody probably was surprised when I deferred, and I just had to go with my gut on that I felt like our defense was going to play well. I really did. And it was my hope we would make a stop and get that score before half and then get the ball back. And we really were in position to do that, and we got a penalty.
Yeah.
And it was on us. I mean, it wasn't like an official thing. That was on us. Had we not done that, we'd had a minute 56 and a chance to go do what we were hoping to do.
Yeah.
We kind of got ourselves on that one.
7. So you came out behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
But overall, defense played great across the board. I mean, that defensive line to me has been just a story all year.
Yes.
I mean, those guys, penetration, filling the gap, making tackles.
Being disciplined, correct.
Sacks. I mean, they've just been a really good line.
They're very active.
It is.
They set up our linebackers to be able to just flow and go make plays. Jet Jones had 23 tackles the other night. 23 tackles. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
They played great. What did you see that we still got to work on going to the playoffs?
Well, you would like to not have to have as long to figure out some of the things, Now, we're playing a very good team the other night.
And they had a game plan, too.
They did. And
they didn't come into here just going to show you everything.
They came out, they ran some things, gotten some sets that they haven't done.
Yeah.
So we had to adjust to those things. We lost the turnover battle. We had 2 picks. They had no turnovers. One we thought we would have gotten.
And if you got to have 2 picks, though, having it on fourth.
Well, one was fourth down.
Same as a punt.
Exactly.
The other one was deep
The other one,
in
we were going to the
territory.
end zone.
Yeah.
If we'd thrown it a little bit more inside, Mike could have gotten it. But, you'd like to have 0. But we like to create a few more turnovers and be on the plus side of that margin. But, overall, I was really pleased with this game.
Yeah, I think, boy, if you're going to peak, you picked the right week to do it, buddy. And I thought the guys did just that. I love the heart. When you saw them come out, and I could see Smith and some of the leaders on the team, after halftime, they came out and they were just amped up. Like they were on the field, really getting into it. The crowd was into the game on both sides of the ball. Of course, it was one of those great Friday nights that you remember for a long time. But
that's right.
I could just tell, you could see the momentum shifting mentality-wise. I mean, they were just coming up and hitting and really doing well. So let's go through some plays because we got a lot of good stuff to look at. We want to get into it today. And then after that, we're going to talk to you about where you can view the game and what we're trying to do so that everybody can watch or listen this next week. So this first one, the thing that you did a lot differently this week is, Brandon didn't stay in the pocket much. He did a lot of bootlegging.
Yeah, we did. We got him sprint outs, dash game, running on the edges. Here's a bootleg that you're going to see here. It was our first offensive play. And So we're trying to get Cross and Dylan Fluellen across the formation. We get Brandon outside. You can see some of the big guys they have, but Brandon has the advantage there with his speed. So just trying to get him out in space was one of the critical things. And of course, he ended up with 183 yards rushing. So
and this is one of those rushes right here.
Correct.
This is one of those keepers that you guys had decided, hey, we're gonna add our extra threat.
Right. Right. So
you got Brandon could be, if he wasn't the quarterback, he could just as easily be running back.
Running back, receiver.
He really could.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
He really is. So you're going to see here we're going to do an outside zone play, a stretch play with the quarterback. I've got Davion here, Davion Smith highlighted.
Had a great game, by the way.
Great game in all facets of the game. Yeah. And just watch him here as he blocks this inside backer.
Puts him on his rear end.
Incredible physicality there. Of course, Brandon gets out into the secondary, 34-yard gain.
He has a way, Todd says he has a way of getting skinny down the sideline.
He does.
I always think he's running out of bounds, and he just figures out how to.
Somehow he's able to twist and torque his body in ways and stay
run
in bounds.
Yeah, it's unreal.
He really is.
Big gain on that play, and that was just one of his big runs you'll see.
Right.
Now, these next couple of things are going to be defensive side of the ball.
Right.
And the first two are going to be mostly about defensive line.
Correct. So you're going to see here, and the reason we have a focus here on the defensive line is because the style play they have, and it's so critical what the defensive line does, and reading their keys and getting penetration. So you see them. I'm going to go to the end zone here. You're going to just see them get up the field and clog up that trap play right up the middle. You've got to start there and then work out.
Yeah, and those guys run those counters and traps.
They're very good at it.
They're so good. They call that offense. Well, they call their whole setup full tilt.
Right.
Because they come to the ball fast, execute immediately, and they run like the same plays over and over, but they run them perfectly.
Well, and they have the same scheme, but they block it different ways. And so they're influencing, they're blocking down, they're kicking out. So it's really hard on a defense because they're giving you false keys, they're giving you good keys, and you have to really hone in and be disciplined, or you get out of position and they crease you.
Yeah.
So they're
and
really
they've got
good
the
at
athletes to do it,
They
by
do.
the way.
They
This
do.
number 15 blew my mind when
freshman.
Todd said he's a freshman.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Incredible
Because they've
player.
got a freshman class up there like one you've never seen before.
Correct.
We're going to have to fight them the next few years. And that number 6 that plays for them, he's
Martin.
a D1. He's going to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Already
So
committed
I
to
thought they
Oklahoma
did a
State.
good job of shutting him down. 15 did more damage than 6.
He had some big plays. He really did. And 15 hadn't gotten to play a lot because he's been injured earlier in the year. So this was his really coming on the scene night. I'm gonna take a look at this one from the end zone camera. I'm gonna highlight Jaden Griffin here and show you how he fits down into the defensive line. So he's a DB, but we're gonna bring Davion Smith sets the edge. I've got a line drawn there. His job is to make sure the ball turns inside. And then here you see Jaden fit down inside, really physical there. Great defensive play.
And then here comes the linebackers behind him. And I thought that was great because Jaden is about, what is Jaden's size?
145, 150.
Yeah, he's
probably.
like 5'7".
Uh-huh.
5'7", 145.
Right.
He's got a D1
Oh, he's 6'2",
back coming
6'1",
at him.
240.
And he just squared up and took him on and made a great tackle. Flipped the guy,
Right.
in fact, right into traffic. Now, this next one is going to be somebody that I've enjoyed, or this is the defensive line, actually. This is something I've noticed that we've done well all year. These guys have done a good job this year because we struggled, I thought, a little bit last year with people getting outside on us. I think they've done a remarkable job this year with the scrape.
Right.
Getting everybody flowing to the sideline. And look, there's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Well, PG does a great job with their jet sweep. This is one of the things they talk about at clinics and so forth, and they get to the edge, and because they've got so many things inside, the trap, the buck sweep, et cetera. So watch here, and I've got some lines drawn where all the defensive players are getting their helmets on the outside, which makes the running back have to turn back inside, and then here comes the flow of the D-line and the linebackers, and we make the stop for a very minimal gain. Big play.
Yeah, and because they do execute that so well.
That is right.
This next play is one of a very exciting run. We got a lot of good backs. We always talk about it, but this is one of my favorites. This is Ward
Jared
on
Ward.
a big run and a big block.
Exactly. You're going to see Jared. We've got another outside zone play, and we're going to get him the ball. He's really dangerous in space. So that's Jared right there. I've got highlighted, and then you're going to see Luke Watson, who played a good bit of fullback the other night. Watch him come around and just take number 20 and bury him outside, and that gave Jared the crease that he needed to get into the secondary. And then you see Rowan Llewellyn do a great job of pushing Nick Martin up the field and out of the way to add to the yardage.
One of the keys of the game we talked about before in pregame, Todd mentioned what he thought. One of mine was that Luke Watson had to have a good game.
He did. On both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he had to have a good game. And I specifically was talking about him being in the fullback position that night and being able to get blocks on some of those key, six.
Specifically Nick Martin.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Martin
we know how good he is.
And he played. He set up a lot of stuff.
He did.
You don't
really
see
did.
that because you're always watching the ball carrier. But if you go back and watch the game and look at the setups, the blocks that had to happen to get those guys out in open field, he had a heck of a game.
Really
what a way to go out as a senior.
Oh,
right?
Great last home game, no doubt.
This next one we're going to look at is a Dillon touchdown in his favorite corner.
He scored a whole bunch of them over here on this left side. You're going to see the DB is sagging him inside, and so we're going to run a flag route. And Brandon does a super job of throwing the ball outside where he can run to it. Great move by Dillon to set up the DB. And of course, you put it around him, and he's really good.
He's going to go up and go get it.
Now, I wanted, as you mentioned, there's times that you don't see things that are going on inside the tackle box, and you see Jared here make a tremendous block so that Brandon could make that throw. So here comes a linebacker on a blitz, and he picks up the linebacker and gave Brandon the time to throw the ball.
Just enough time.
That's exactly right.
To get that ball out. Now, younger brother, Llewellyn didn't want to be showing up in that same corner.
Right. So we've got Rowan, and he's playing inside receiver.
His first game back, he missed 3 games.
He's missed a couple here since he hurt his arm. And so same type route, flag route. Again, they're playing us inside, so we run a flag route to him, and he hits the opening there. Brandon makes a great throw, and we're into the end zone. Pretty big play there.
Now this next one, this is a pass that was completed also to Dillon, but this one, what we want to focus on is the move that Brandon puts on Martin.
Correct. This is a 2nd and 11, and you're going to see Martin come on a blitz. Brandon sees him, makes him miss, gets out in the open, hits Dillon for about 17, 18 yards. Huge play. The reason we put this one on here is just to look at the athleticism and the awareness that Brandon has to be able to sidestep a player at that level.
Yeah, stayed poised.
And then makes a great throw.
And that was a key play in the game.
Oh, yeah.
If you think about, there were a lot of key plays. Every play was key in this one because we got to do few of them, more of them. But Todd, I was picking on him during the broadcast because he kept going, this could be the play of the game. This could be the play of the game. And I told him at the end of it, I was like, you were right on each one.
Right.
They each became more important than the next one.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
right.
That's
exactly.
right. So
no doubt.
So this next one is a great inside post route that Rowan runs, and this was a big gain and very important we needed this at this time.
We did, and you see this is the opposite of what we've been running. We were running flag routes. Well, they bump their guy out. He's more head up, and so now we're going to get inside of him. So Rowan attacks the DB, sticks his foot, bends inside, and Brandon throws a great ball, puts it right on his helmet, and now we're down to about the 5-yard line. So, when you're playing a defense as good as they are, you've got to have chunk plays. You've got to be able to not just have to make every 5 yards at a time. You need to be able to take some chunk plays because they're really good.
And you guys had several of those.
We did.
Had several of them throughout the night. So this next one is Brandon on a 67-yard TD scramble.
Right.
But and the run was great.
Oh,
but it doesn't happen without a block from one of his buddies.
Oh yeah. You're going to see him. He's gonna drop back. Here he is in the shotgun. He's going to drop back and move to the right. They blitzed a linebacker, which then left a lane. He saw it, cuts back against the grain. Here comes Dillon.
You got 2 of the fastest guys on your team.
Correct.
Sprinting down the sideline here. Nobody was going to get them. Once they get out in grass, that's over.
Super job of finding the opening. I'm going to show you here what Brandon saw. He drops back. Here comes the backer. Now that's what he saw. And so he sticks his foot and gets up inside, and then it's just Brandon being Brandon. He's just very skilled.
And look how good a job that Dillon took his time, waited. didn't go in after the block. He waited for it to come to him and hit it when he needed to. That's good. That's good, smart football.
And making sure you don't get a penalty.
Yeah, because you always worry about that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because you get a little nervous down there. So this next one, most controversial play of the game. All right, this was the fumble on our sideline that we apparently had because everybody comes on the field and then they took it away from us. So let's talk about it.
I'll start with it. It's a bootleg pass by the offense. Tremendous job by the quarterback for PG to get this thing off because Tristan McKeon is right there in his face and hits him right in the chest. So he's under pressure. He's able to hit his receiver coming on a drag route. Rowan finds him, runs him down. And so here at this point, now he's trying to get him down and he rips the ball out at this point. I've got the ball circled coming out. And you see where his foot is. And we recover. And unfortunately, they called the play out of bounds.
Yeah. Is that what you told them when you were talking to the referees? Did you say that was unfortunate? It looked like you were saying something like, "Oh, that's unfortunate."
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I know you can't say anything about that. Right. Literally, Todd was losing his mind. I thought I was going to have to turn his mic off.
It was frustrating.
But he was really, really upset about it. Everybody in the stands were upset about it. I think everybody knows that was a fumble in the stands except the guy that counted. And we'll just leave it at that. That's one of those unfortunate things because that's where they're driving to go tie the ball game up. We had 4 minutes on the clock and fixing to go into a tie ball game. And this isn't just a preseason game. This is a district championship game against the number 2 team in the state. You can't make those kind of mistakes. Well, but it happens.
It happened.
And I get it. Everybody's human.
Right.
We're going to forgive. But, boy, that would have been an absolute nightmare had that gone the other way. I mean, it would have been terrible. It
would have been very frustrating. The thing that we are going to focus on, that we went even at that moment, once we knew there was nothing we could do, is, okay, we have to overcome it. Yeah. We have to overcome the adversity. Well, they went down and scored. We'd just soon that not have happened. But at that point, now we had a minute 46 or so with the ball. And so everybody was like, okay, we just got to go score. Yeah. That's the point. You can't do anything about what has happened. It's all about what can we control. And I love the demeanor. I love the confidence. People made plays. Dylan made great catches. Brandon made some great throws. The line gave us time. That's something that can't be understated, is the job our line did on their huge defensive front all night. And they gave us the time.
Yeah, they did. They battled. This is reminiscent of the minute 9 on the clock against Gladewater in the playoff game in Longview.
It's very similar.
It's like we had so long to get down the field. Did you ever at some point think when they got that fumble back? Of course, luckily they got a 15-yard penalty. It backed them up.
Right.
But had that not, did you think, all right, looking at the clock, because I know how you are with clock management, did you ever look at that and say, okay, looking at the score, looking at the clock, let's just let them score? Did you think about that?
I did.
Instead of going for the stop and eating up the clock?
I did. Part of it was, it was at a 4-minute mark. It wasn't like at a 2.5-minute mark or something like that, or even less. Yeah. To me, that's an extreme and an extreme decision. I still felt like our defense could stop them, and so they went down and scored, but it didn't get, minute. To me, if you get it back in 50-something seconds, I feel pretty good about being able to move down the field.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about, to me, if it gets really crazy in the time standpoint, that's when you have to start making some of those extreme decisions. Sorry, this wire's wearing me out.
That's fine.
Okay. So here we are. We're down
So we
here.
march down the field. Boom, boom, boom. Dylan makes a great catch on the 2-yard line.
2-yard line.
And it sets up the chip shot. Then the referee, we're trying to down the ball. They drop the ball, fumbling around. Ooh. That was with 8 seconds.
Correct.
And we go down to 2 seconds. He finally gets it spiked. Sets up the finish of a lifetime.
Exactly. I put right here on our film, you got to remember the snapper, the holder, and the kicker all have to do their job. And so many times those guys are overlooked unless something goes wrong, much like officials. And so you had Mason Hurt snapping, you had Cody Guidry holding, you got Jose here kicking. All 3 of the elements were done perfectly, just like they work on all week long, and he drills the thing right through the middle. And then that's when the mayhem started.
Yeah, and it was great. That was fun. Man, that's as much fun as I've had
It's pretty
in
exciting.
this stadium in a long time. It was incredible. What a great celebration! And to PG's credit, they are number 2 in the state, ranked, and earned that ranking. They are a great football team.
And they have a great program.
I'm proud of our boys. I'm proud of our coaches. They have Gibson's done a great job over there, and I saw, and you saw it too. But he gave his kids, I thought, a great speech right here on our field, right after the game. And you can see why their program is what it is. The guy's a good guy, and
he's in it for the right reasons.
Congratulations to PG. If any of those guys happen to be watching, congratulations on a great year, and what a hard fought ball game that I thought was fought pretty gentlemanly.
Oh yeah,
there was not a lot of extracurricular that you see from LE and some other teams, and I thought it was just two great coaching staffs against two great groups of kids, and it's just what football is all about, man. It is what it's all about. So thank you for bringing the district trophy home.
You bet.
On behalf of the town. Now let's talk about Canton.
Okay.
So Canton, Lindale, Texas. Nice stadium, beautiful new stadium.
Right.
7:30 Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Canton. What are we looking at?
Canton they run a spread formation offensively. They do a lot of RPOs. They run a lot of quicks, where we're trying to get the ball out of our hands fast. They are trying to get the ball out of their hands fast. So, I would say they're well coached. They're disciplined. We've got to do a good job of taking care of what we do. Defensively, they're typically a 4-down look, 4-2-5, 4-3, that kind of a thing. They play hard. They have a really good middle linebacker that'll get after you. He's about 6'1", probably about 220, good-looking guy, and plays hard. So, we're going to have to execute. The thing for us, and we had our staff meeting earlier, our coaching staff, is we want to have the level of preparation that we had last week every week now. That's the new bar.
Yeah.
And so whoever we're playing, that we want that laser focus. We want that kind of buy-in. We want that kind of energy in our practices, in our study of the games. And so when we do that, then we should be able to do what we want to do.
Well, you guys had a great game plan going into this one against just an incredible team once again. So good luck with that. So let's talk just a minute about, as we close out, where people are going to be able to watch the game. Because, folks, it's out of our control. We wouldn't move it if we didn't have to. But when you get into the playoffs, the rules change a little bit. So we have a mandate from UIL that they have a contract with a company that we have to broadcast the games live through. And it's NFHS, National Football High School, NFHS. And so you can go to their website and watch it. There's also an app you can download on your smart TV that they have. There is a subscription fee. It's like $11 or something like that a month, which is the one I would do, or $70 a year. I'd start out with the monthly subscription, obviously. And you can do that. We're going to also try, Alan, to broadcast the game. We're going to have to, change some of our setup with the help of eText. But we're going to also try to do the audio only through eText Channel 1 or 601, like we used to do before we could, broadcast the games.
Right.
And so we're going to try to pull that off. I can't guarantee it, but that's our goal, and I'm sure Eric Conitz will figure out a way to work with Charlie Cano and get that done. If they can, it's the failure is on them, and they let the entire town down. So no pressure there on Eric and Charlie.
Got it.
So, but we're going to try to do that, and we'll also try to pipe it audio only through GilmerBuckeyes.com.
Okay.
Now that's our goal. I can promise you it's going to be on the NFHS. We're going to try to do those other two.
Right.
So you just know that there is a fee. It's cheap. You're going to get to watch all the games the rest of the month. So I would go that route if it were me, and watch the game, not listen to the game, but do what you want. We're going to try to give you both options out there. We are the home team.
We are the visiting team.
We're the visiting team.
They won the flip on that.
They won the flip. So we'll be on the visitor side on Friday night.
Correct.
And we're going to do the broadcast, again, live. You can go there and watch it. And then also the replays are going to be the same. So after the game, Eric will be uploading the games to the GilmerBuckeyes.com website. And you can go there and watch, archive games. And then also eText will be playing it like they normally do on 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. Is that right? YouTube? YouTube, and then of course on eText, 10 o'clock, and then I think again on Wednesday at like 6 or whatever they normally do. So that's where you can watch the game. So again, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
On an incredible season, and now it's playoff time.
Yes, sir.
So let's we only got six more games.
6 weeks.
You win 6 more, you get another trophy.
There you go.
Well, actually, you get a trophy every week, but you get the big trophy.
You get the real one.
You get the big one at 6 games. So let's go. Let's do that. So Buckeye Nation, we need every one of you that can to show up, because I'm going to tell you something. Doesn't it make a big difference when the crowd's into the game?
Gosh, yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
the momentum
Amazing
and energy.
energy.
When you guys are bringing noise, bring the noisiest things you can find. Your children, that's a good start. Noisemakers, rattles, whatever you've got, come and make noise and stand and scream, because it really gets the momentum. It gets into the head of the other team.
Right.
It's intimidating. This was an intimidating environment Friday
great.
night, man.
It was
The
perfect.
cheerleaders, the drill team, the band was rocking the house.
They were all over
the
it.
crowd was up on both sides. I mean, it was electric here.
really
We
was.
need to bring that same energy to Lindale. It's not that far. It's about a 35-minute drive, something like that, 40 minutes maybe. Make the drive to Lindale. Come out and support the Buckeyes. If you don't, watch it on television, obviously, and we'll be bringing it to you live. So congratulations on the district championship, and we will see you all in Lindale, 7:30 Friday night, visitor side. Be there.